The deal is sealed. The fuse is lit, and nobody on your timeline has clocked it yet. By the time hip-hop wakes up tomorrow, the timeline is going to look unrecognizable. And the wildest part? Every clue, every breadcrumb has been parked in broad daylight for 72 hours. We just kept scrolling past it. The tape is done. The vault is locked. The masters are on a hard drive off Sunset. And a man who hasn't touched a camera since spring just walked back onto the grid like he never left. So pull up, close that other tab, because what I'm about to lay out is going to rewire the way you've read every single pgLang movement going back to the start of the year. Once you adjust to the pattern, there is no unseeing it. And once the timing snaps into focus, you'll understand why the most dangerous voice in rap has been holding his breath for months. Before we tunnel any deeper, you already know the move. Hit that like, slam subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss the moment this thing detonates. We are not doing the recycled version. Let's run it. Set the scene. It's an ordinary midweek night. Hip-hop is doing the same dance. Endless arguments about who wrote what. 1,000 podcasts spinning the same Drake think piece. The same 8 talking heads saying the same 8 things they were saying in February. Background noise. And then, out of nowhere, a man who's been a ghost for months decides to flip the light back on. He opens Instagram. He starts posting, not once, not twice, a full-blown avalanche. Pictures, stories, shares, half-hidden screenshots, photos you'd have to slow down and zoom in just to register. That man is Dave Free. And if that name doesn't ring loud, lean in, because this is where the conversation tilts on its axis. Dave Free is not an artist. Dave Free is not a publicist. Dave Free is not a hype man. Dave Free is the architect, the silent operator who builds the floor that Kendrick Lamar walks on. He's the producer of the entire pgLang machine, the man whose name lives in the credits while everybody else fights for the spotlight. And here's the part that should raise the hair on your neck. Dave Free does not post for vibes. He does not post for clout. When Dave Free shows up, it is because something is about to crash into the culture like a freight train with no brakes. Every single time, without exception, Dave Free has gone underground and suddenly reappeared. An entire chapter of music has dropped behind him within weeks. Not months, weeks. That isn't luck. That is a blueprint, and the blueprint is firing live right now. Let me walk you through it. The story already started without us. 48 hours ago, Dave Free's account stopped flatlining. Not softly, full throttle. Within hours, he was rotating behind-the-scenes shots from Baby Keem's press circuit. He was lifting content from the brand-new pgLang signee nobody saw blooming. He was reposting from the obsessive blogs, quietly logging every micro-movement from this camp like cult historians. And then, slipped inside a story like a postcard tucked into a book, came the frame that lit the internet on fire. A snapshot of Kendrick Lamar in a recording booth, smiling. Not flexing, not performing, smiling. The exact kind of smile a man wears when he is holding a winning hand and the rest of the table doesn't know the game is over. The fan accounts went feral within minutes. Screen caps were everywhere. Some kid pulled a half-second clip of Kendrick laughing through a passenger window outside pgLang headquarters. Someone else freeze-framed a blurry figure leaning over a mixing console in the background of a story. And then the kill shot, a photo with the new signee draped in a pgLang fitted next to gear that wasn't there last week. You see how the pieces are clicking into place? You see how the dominoes are already mid-fall?
This isn't accidental. This is staged. This is engineered. Every angle in those frames was approved before it ever touched the timeline. Pause. Hold it. Because here's the part casual scrollers fly past. pgLang is not a record label. Not in the way the industry uses that word. pgLang is a narrative engine, a screenwriter's room dressed up as a music company. Every release is a chapter. Every visual is a scene. Every artist is a recurring character inside one interconnected story that has been unfolding under our noses for years. You thought Baby Keem's casino project was just a Keem project standing on its own? You thought the playing card motif was random art direction? You thought the red sheet thrown over Kendrick's GNX during the tour was a stage trick? Not even close. That was a trail of crumbs laid down for the patient. Roll the tour footage back. Watch the wardrobe, the jackets, the embroidery, the tiny card details stitched into Kendrick's stage fit. Those weren't fashion calls. Those were Easter eggs. Kendrick was leaking his own cousin's album cover from his own stage in front of 40,000 people a night, in total silence, without ever confirming it in a single interview. That is the patience we are dealing with. And that level of patience is exactly why what is breaking right now should put a chill down your spine. Because if those signals from a year ago were quietly steering us toward Keem's casino chapter, what on earth are these brand new signals steering us toward right now? Let's pick them apart, one by one. Signal number one, baby Keem on the road. And not just on the road, but on the kind of victory lap that turns rooms into pressure cookers, arenas selling out within hours, mosh pits that look more like religious experiences than concerts, the casino documentary running parallel to the tour like a serialized prestige drama, episode after episode, mythology stacking on mythology. That is not a label having a moment. That is a label flexing every muscle in the same breath. If you've ever been inside a Keem show, you already know the temperature. The mosh pit is a ritual. People leave those arenas hoarse, bruised, eyes glassy, already trying to figure out which city to fly to next. You don't build a fan base like that on accident. You build it because the people running the building know exactly which buttons to press. Signal 2, the new signee, Imani. She walks out of nowhere, no press, no countdown, no listening party, and drops a full project on a random Friday like it's nothing. 11 tracks, no filler. Within 72 hours, the project sprints from outside the top 120 into the top 30 R&B with zero marketing dollars, zero. That happens when a fan base is already at the door waiting to be let in. Signal number 3, Dave Free rebooted, smiling, reposting, quietly active in a way he hasn't been all year. Signal 4, Kendrick inside the studio, with Imani, with Keem, with session players we've never seen. And the studio shots keep coming. They are not slowing down, they are speeding up. Stack all of that on the table, run that math. What number do you get? Now I already know what's coming. You're thinking, fine, that's a lot of dots, but who's wiring them together? Where's the smoking gun? Where's the source? Fair pushback. So let me slide my speculation glasses on, because I have a working theory and I'm almost positive it ages like fine wine. Here is what I think has been happening. Kendrick has been quietly cooking an album since at least January. That isn't a wild swing. Isaiah Rashad casually let it slip on a live stream months back, and most people scrolled past the moment. Multiple background sources hinted at late-night studio runs during the closing leg of the GNX tour. Reports of Kendrick stepping off arena stages soaked in sweat, walking straight into vocal booths, 18-hour days, engineers nobody could place. The man does not unplug. He closes one chapter at midnight and starts sketching the next before sunrise. Here's the piece nobody wants to admit. The GNX rollout, the one we all assumed wrapped, may not actually be finished. When the album landed, there were rumors of a deluxe already mastered and shelved. People debated it, the chatter went cold, dissolved into background noise. But what if the deluxe never surfaced because it stopped being a deluxe? What if it got reshaped and stretched into something the original blueprint couldn't contain? What if the so-called second half quietly became a brand new full chapter? Because that is exactly the move this camp specializes in. They do not drop bonus material, they drop transformations. Hold the phone, stay with me, because we have to walk into the room everybody is tiptoeing around. The Drake situation. Yes, we are absolutely going there. The entire rap ecosystem is sitting in a strange, jittery, half-frozen state. Everybody is whispering, and the longer Kendrick keeps his mouth closed, the louder his silence detonates. Heart Part 2 hit. The Jay-Z guest spot rattled the older heads, and the entire audience is sitting on the edge of the cushion, waiting to see what the man who actually pulled the pin on this whole era is about to do next. Real talk, a Kendrick verse in this climate wouldn't shake hip-hop, it would torch it to the studs. A Kendrick single right now would function like a tactical strike, and a full Kendrick project, brother, would be the kind of cultural earthquake people reference in classrooms a decade from now, which is exactly why he hasn't pressed go. because perfection isn't a deadline, it's a destination. And when he finally arrives, you don't get a warning email. You get a buzz on your nightstand at 3 in the morning. And from there, your relationship with music shifts forever. Heat. Now let's pull back the curtain on the release strategy. pgLang doesn't do the old school rollout. They don't book the 6-month press circuit. They don't beg for the magazine covers, the late-night couch interviews. That circus is not their kind of theater. Their playbook is one word followed by another word. Silence, detonation. Quiet, eruption. GNX showed up with no rollout. One morning, the world didn't know it existed. The next morning, it was the most streamed album in the country. Amari showed up with no rollout. One morning, she was a name in the credits. The next morning, she was charting in 3 regions. You see the architecture yet? This is the new arithmetic of the modern music business. The longer you stretch out the announcement, the more oxygen you hand to the internet to chew it up, declare it dead on arrival, and bury it before a single note has actually been heard. So you don't tease, you don't roll, you drop. You let the music handle its own marketing. You let the algorithm carry the weight. If the record is genuinely undeniable, the system will push it further than any publicist on earth ever could. That is the pgLang doctrine, and across the last 6 years, it has not lost a single round. Now contrast that with another name, Iceman, a man who has been previewing the same project for so long it has overlapped multiple election cycles, a man who was hyped, oversold, underdelivered, leaked his own snippets, fought strangers online, and burned through the patience of fans who used to defend him in barbershops. His loyalists are openly begging him on Twitter to just press the button already. That is the cost of overpromising. The mystery dies before the music gets to breathe. Kendrick will never make that mistake.
He will never tell you it's coming. He will only let you find out it's here. Mini break. Take a breath. The next layer is the one most of the audience skipped. Go back to the photograph, the smile, the frame Dave Free dropped into his story. I have been studying this man for years. I screen cap his stories the second they go up because his footprint is rare. And I'm telling you, I have never seen Dave Free smile like that on camera before. Not once. He is not the smiling type. He is the watching type. He moves the way deep cover operatives move, in the corners, in the shadow of the doorway, where you barely realize he was there until he's already gone. And then, out of nowhere, a smile. That smile is not a smile. That smile is a flare gun. That smile is a 4-star general grinning at his battalion the night before the operation goes live. That smile is the quiet older brother saying in the calmest tone available to a human voice, "We have already won this thing. The rest of the world simply hasn't been told yet." Heat, speculation. Now let me crack open the angle nobody dared put on the table. There is a theory drifting around the deeper corners of the internet, the kind that lives in private group chats and underground forums, and I think it deserves sunlight. The theory is this: pgLang has not been assembling a single album. pgLang has been assembling an event, a multi-artist, multi-album, multi-week cultural avalanche designed to hit the timeline all at once. Keem, Amari, Kendrick, possibly a 4th name we haven't met yet, all threaded together, all carrying pieces of one shared narrative. The casino imagery, the cards stitched into the GNX wardrobe, the mystery artist, the studio frames with Amari and Kendrick, Dave Free's grin, the radio silence from the man at the center. Every recent visual feels like a page torn out of a novel we haven't been given yet. What if we're not waiting on an album? What if we're waiting on a saga? That single reframing explains every choice this camp made for the last 12 months. It explains the patience. It explains the absent interviews. It explains why a man holding the biggest cultural moment of the decade has refused to cash it in the way every label in America has begged him to. Because he isn't trying to win the week. He is trying to win the next 30 years. He isn't building a moment. He is engineering a legacy. Heat. Now hear me clearly. I am not telling you this is locked in stone. I am not claiming I have a burner phone connected to anybody in the inner circle. But what I am telling you is this:
I have been watching this camp for almost a decade, and I know their fingerprints by feel alone, and every print in this current dust is screaming the same sentence. Something is on the runway. And here's where it tilts strange. Inside the last 48 hours, there have been whispers from people in the production world about studio bookings that don't add up. Engineers called into sessions where the artist is listed only as private. Mastering houses told to keep certain windows open. Visual artists allegedly on standby for projects with no name attached. None of this is public yet, but it is the exact background static that always crackles into existence in the weeks before a Tier 1 release. You connect the wires. Now let's pivot into pure strategy mode for a moment. Imagine you are sitting on a Kendrick Lamar album that you already know, beyond a shadow of doubt, is going to crater the internet. How do you let it loose? You don't announce it, you don't tease it, you don't pin a date to it. So how do you build pressure without ever pulling the pin? You light up the entire roster. You send Keem on the road. You launch Imani with no warning.
You let your co-founder come back to social media looking like a man holding 3 secrets at once. You feed the timeline little crumbs, studio snapshots, smiles, captions in code. You let the fans market it for free, and then the second the conversation hits peak volume, you press the button. That is exactly the choreography we are watching in real time, and 90% of the internet is so distracted by other artists having public breakdowns they haven't noticed. But you noticed because you stayed in the room, and because of that, you'll be one of the first standing at the door when this thing breaks. Quick rehook, stay locked in. The final stretch might be the most important. People have been quietly predicting a new Kendrick album since April. The chatter started faint, a lone tweet here, a vague blog post there, a whisper from a friend of an engineer. I shrugged most of it off. I figured it was wishful thinking. But then Dave Free flipped his switch and the calculation changed. Because Dave Free does not bluff. Dave Free does not stage. Dave Free does not perform. When Dave Free moves, it means something. And when Dave Free moves this much, this loudly, inside a single 48-hour window, we are not talking months, we are talking weeks, possibly days. I am not exaggerating for views. I am reading the pattern out loud, and the pattern has yet to be wrong. Now I want to be transparent. I am not the channel that drops fake release date claims for the algorithm. I am not telling you the album drops Friday at midnight. I do not have that information. What I have is observation, pattern recognition. The weight of every previous pgLang play stacked behind me, all whispering the same warning. Something is loading. Soon. Maybe sooner than the timeline is ready for. You think Dave Free is sly? You think he can throw that smile into a story and we wouldn't pick it apart? You think we wouldn't grab every thread and braid them back together until the picture became readable? He thinks he's slick. He knows he's slick. And on most days he is, because the culture is still flicking past those stories without registering that they just watched the trailer to the biggest album of the year. But not over here. We saw it. We logged it. We are locked and standing by. Before we wrap, let me drop one final layer, because there's one piece of this puzzle I haven't seen anybody mention, and it might be the loudest on the board: the new signee. People are calling her the secret weapon. If you sit down with her project, headphones on, volume up, and listen to the sonic detail, you'll notice things. The mix choices, the texture of the vocal stacking, the way melodies sit in the negative space. It carries the unmistakable fingerprint of the same producers, the same engineers, the same creative ears that have shaped the entire Kendrick sound for the last decade. That is not coincidence. That is intent. That is the same hand on the same canvas. And what that tells me is one single thing. Whatever is loading inside this camp is not going to drop like an album. It is going to drop like a cinematic universe. Connected sounds, connected visuals, connected language, connected story. That is how empires are built. That is how legacies outlive decades. Let me throw one more piece into the fire. The deep fan theories, the ones whispered in private discords and password-locked subreddits. People genuinely believe Kendrick has been running a multi-year master plan since the morning GNX hit streaming. They believe the silence is not silence at all. They believe the missing interviews, the skipped red carpets, the refusal to play the award season circuit, all of it is one coordinated decision. He is removing every distraction from the room. He is clearing the table. making sure when the music lands, nothing else in the conversation is strong enough to compete. And the more I sit with it, the more I think they might be onto something. The longer I study this camp, the more obvious it becomes they aren't playing on the same calendar as the rest of the industry. They don't chase trends. They don't chase quarters. They don't chase weekly headlines. They chase moments. The kind that don't just dominate a news cycle, but reroute the trajectory of a genre for the next 10 years. A completely different operating system. And once you see it, you understand why nothing this camp does ever feels accidental. So while the rest of the timeline is arguing in quote tweets, while every blog is rerunning the same 5 Drake versus Jay-Z takes, pgLang is in the lab, quietly, methodically, surgically, building. And the second they decide to flick the switch, every conversation in the genre flips upside down in a heartbeat. Listen, if you've ridden with me to this point, you're a real one, and I see you. Drop a comment. Where do you stand? Believer? Skeptic? Do you read Dave Free's smile as a flare? Or am I reading scripture into a man who just had a good Tuesday? Either way, get in the chat. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, slap the notification bell, stay glued to the channel, because the second this lands, I'll be the first voice in your feed peeling it apart. Live reaction, bar by bar, the whole rollout. The story isn't ending. The story is just starting. And by the time the rest of the internet catches up, we will already be 3 exits down the highway. Heat. Heat. One last thing before you click out. Keep your eyes glued to Dave Free's stories. Watch the pgLang account. Keep your ear on the ground for studio leaks, mastering chatter, sudden disappearances from Kendrick's circle, mystery visual artists going dark, engineers booked on impossible schedules. Because silence in this universe is the loudest possible sound. And right now, the silence is deafening enough to rattle windows. Something is coming. Stand ready. Look, do me a favor before the week closes. Open pgLang's Instagram, then Dave Free's, then scroll through Baby Keem's, then pull up Amari's, and just stare at the timestamps. Watch the cadence. Watch the way the same photos echo across accounts inside the same 6-hour windows. That is not coincidence. That is a coordinated activation pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is the rhythm this camp enters right before they detonate. The pre-launch convergence, the visual stitching, the cross-account choreography, every single time. And it has officially started. The only question hanging in the air is the date. Let me close with one last thought. We just lived through 2 of the most consequential years in the recorded history of this genre. We watched alliances bend, we watched friendships shatter on camera, we watched whole careers get rewritten in real time. We watched one man, quiet, locked in, head down, flip an entire genre on its side without ever needing to say more than a 16 at a time. And now, exactly as the dust is starting to feel like it might be settling, exactly as the culture is starting to relax into the idea that the story is over, that same man's right hand is back on social media, dropping crumbs at 3 in the morning. If that doesn't tell you the next chapter is loading on the runway, I genuinely don't know what will. Bookmark this video. Come back to it the day it drops. Tell me I called it. Until then, stay sharp, stay ready, stay locked. The next move is the loudest one. The countdown is already running. The patterns do not lie. The smile told us everything. The silence is the signal. The next move is the loudest one. The patterns do not lie.